Hello friends, Bhavna Thacker here. Welcome to my channel Learn Android. In today's video, we are going to discuss Kotlin Collections. So what are we going to cover today? We'll jump to Intellij IDEA and cover three major types of collections: list, set and map provided by Kotlin Standard Library. We'll cover the basics of how to instantiate the list, set and map, how to retrieve their elements, what is equality in collections, what is mutability and immutability, some basic operations, search, sorting, then how to add or remove collections, and how to create an empty collection or how to use builder functions and much more. So stay tuned till the end of this video and I promise you'll learn a lot. So let's get started. And yes, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so right away. So let's get started. This is collection interface hierarchy. Collection interface is the root of collection hierarchy. It inherits from iterable interface that defines the operation for iterating elements. A pair of interfaces represent each collection type. The read-only interface that provides operations for accessing the collection elements. A mutable interface that extends the corresponding read-only interface with write operations like adding, removing, and updating its elements. Let's now jump to Intellij IDEA and see collections in action. We'll see list first. List is the most basic and widely used collection. List stores elements in a specified order and provides indexed access to them. Elements can occur more than once in a list, including null. An example of list is a telephone number. It's a group of digits. Their order is important and they can repeat. So we have countries as a list of Japan, India, Singapore and Australia. You can get the size of the list using this size property. You can access any element using the get function, or you can use square brackets and specify the index. So third element or fourth element, you get it this way. You can get index of a particular element using index of and then specify the element. And then you have to take care while specifying the index that it has to be within the range. So the size of this list is 4, right? So index can be from 0 to 3. So if you try to access an element which is out of this, throw array index out of bounds exception. Let's see this in action. You can run it from here or use this shortcut on Mac, Control Option R. As you can see, the first 4 output as desired, and then you see array index out of bound exception. Now if you want to avoid exceptions, you have two options: get or null and get or else. Get or null will give you an entry at the specified index if it exists, else it will return null. In get or else, you can specify the default value inside the lambda. So run this to verify this. You get null or -1. Now equality in list. List elements can duplicate. Two lists are considered equal if they have same size and structurally equal elements at the same position. So if you compare this employees 1 and employees 2 list, at present it is same because this is the John variable and effectively it has this value which is present in the employees 2. So if we compare first time, this should give us true. But then you modify the John variable and its name to be John, and then when you try to compare, the contents are not equal and this second entry after should give you false. Run this to verify. Now let's discuss what is a mutable list and an immutable list. When you say list of, it creates a read-only list, so it is a immutable list. You cannot add, remove or update its entries. So for that you use mutable list. So here you define mutable list of Martin and John as employee 3. Then you can add Robert to the list. Then you can use remove function or remove at specifying the index. Then there is fill. Fill simply replaces all the collection elements with a specified value. So let's run this and see in action. These are some basic operations. You can check whether a list is empty or not using isEmpty function. Then you can use first and last functions to access the first and the last element of a collection. So this is pretty simple. I am going to just run it. You can do linear search using index of and last index of. They return the first and the last position of an element equal to the given argument in the list. If there are no such elements, both the functions return -1. So index of John should give you 1 as the output and last index of John should give you 3 as the output, right? Index of first returns the index of the first element matching the predicate or -1 if there are no such elements. Index of last returns the index of last element matching the predicate or -1 if there are no such elements. So again we should get 1 and 3 as the output. Let's now see sorting in list. You can use sort function to sort the entries in ascending order, and when you say sort descending, it will sort in descending order, and it is going to modify the original the list that you have specified. So let's see this in action. Now see the difference between sort and sorted. When you say sorted, the original collection remains as is and it returns the result, which you can put it inside a different variable. See the result. You can use sort by and specify the sorting criteria inside the lambda function. So I'm going to sort by length. It's going to be in ascending. Similar to sort by, you have sort by descending. It is going to modify the original collection, and here you can specify the condition, any condition that you like. See here I say it.last, so it is going to check the last character of each entry and use it for sorting. Let's see the output. You can use sort with and specify the comparator. So here first you sort with name and then by age. Let's run this to verify. Suppose you want, so employees with younger age should come first, then you should reverse the criteria. Here it should be age, here it should be name, and then run Robert coming first. If you want random order of the collection, so you can use shuffle. So first time I run, I get this particular value, UK first, then Switzerland, India and Germany. Run it again, this time you'll get some other entries. Reverse is simple, it's just going to reverse the list. So you can remove an entry from the collection using remove function. The contains function will check whether the particular entry is present in a list. Is empty will check if the list is empty. Clear, this is widely used. The clear function is widely used in Android applications. Consider the case where you are fetching the data from a data source, say local data source or remote or some APIs, and before dumping the data into some collection, you want to clear the collection so that it always contains the fresh data. So you will call clear into it. So after you clear it, is empty is going to return true. Run this and verify the output. You can add one collection into another using add all and remove all, and you can check if a particular collection is present in another using contains all. Run this to verify. Now what does a mutable list with val mean? See, when you have a mutable list, you can add, remove or update its elements, but the variable, when it is declared as val, it cannot point to another list. That is the meaning of val. If I make employees 4 as var, then the error will be gone. The employees 3 I have commented out, say I am assigning employees 5. So this will be fine. But if I say this is val cannot be reassigned. How to create an empty list? You can create an empty list this way. Here it is compulsory to specify the type, because if you don't specify the type, you don't specify the values, a single value as well, so it cannot infer the type of the list that you are going to specify. So you can say int, string, whatever is required here, and then you can add elements and then check its values. Another way of creating a collection is to call a builder function. Build list for a list. For set and map, you have build set and build map. They create a new mutable collection of the corresponding type, populate it using the right operations, and then return a read-only collection with the same elements. So this my list is now read-only collection. So if you want to add anything to my list later, you have to first convert it to mutable list and then add. Run this to see in action. Collection copying functions such as toList, mutable list, toSet, etc. create a snapshot of a collection at a specific moment. The result is a new collection of the same elements. If you add or remove elements from the original collection, this won't affect the copies. You can create new references to the same collection instance this way. New references are created when you initialize a collection variable with an existing collection. So when the collection instance is altered through a reference, the changes are reflected in all its references. So if you check the reference list or source list now, both of them will contain robot. Collection initialization can be used for restricting the mutability. So when you say reference list 1 equals to source list 1 and specify its type as list of employees, it will not be a mutable list. Reference list 1 dot add, it will throw an error, compilation error. Only the mutable list you will change. Then refer to this read-only list. It will always reflect the current state of source list. This pattern is widely used in Android applications. In Kotlin, the default implementation of list is ArrayList, which you can think of a resizable array. You can refer to this link from Kotlin official documentation to learn more about ArrayList. Let's now discuss the second type of important collection, set. Set is a collection of unique elements, a group of objects without repetitions. Generally, the order of set elements has no significance. For example, the numbers on the lottery tickets form a set. They are unique and their order is not important. Set can contain only one null. When you use setoff, it creates a read-only set, and even if you specify duplicates in the set, when you print it, you will see the duplicates will not be present. You can get the size using the size property. You can check whether a particular element is present in a set using contains. This is an alternative way of checking whether a particular element is present. Run this to see the result. Two sets are equal if they have the same size, and for each element of a set there is an equal element in another set. So now we expect fruit 1 and fruit 2 to be equal. So just like list of and mutable list of, you have set of and mutable set of. So if you want a mutable set, you have to define it this way. Then you can add and remove elements from it. Print this. How to create an empty set? You can say mutable set of and specify the type, and then you can later add elements to it. You can use builder function build set, and that is going to return you a read-only set. You can create a copy of the set using toSet and toMutable set functions, and then as discussed in the list, this copies and source, they run independently of each other, so the changes in one will not reflect the changes in the other. Many times it's a requirement to convert a list to a set and vice versa. So you have a list, you can convert it to a set using toMutable set. Let's print source list as well. As I told you, the source and the copy run independently of each other, so orange is not present in the list now. The default implementation of set, linked hash set, reserves the order of element insertion. Hence, the functions that rely on the order, such as first or last, return the predictable result on such sets. So first is false and the next this prints true. Alternative implementation of linked hash set is hash set, and it says nothing about the element's order. However, the hash set requires less memory to store the same number of elements. This is the link at which you can learn more about linked hash set. That's the default implementation of set, and this is the link for hash set. We now jump to another important collection, map. Map or dictionary is a set of key value pairs. Keys are unique and each of them maps to exactly one value. The values can be duplicates. Maps are useful for storing logical connections between objects. For example, say you are using Firebase for user authentication and you need only user names on some screen. You can use map with key as a Firebase user ID and value as username. You will think, why not use arrays or ArrayList instead of map? and fetch the values by index. But index can only be integer. However, in map you have object that you can use as a key. Map is not an inheritor of collection interface. However, it's an important collection type. So let's see map in action. You create a read-only map using map of, and to perform operations on all keys or all values of a map, you can retrieve them from the properties, keys and values accordingly. Run this and see the output. You can use contains key and contains value functions to check for a particular key or value. You can iterate through the map using this format. So this will be a map.entry with key as string and value as integer. If you try to access a value in the map using a key which is not there in the map, you get null when you use the square bracket. And if you try to get value using getValue function and the key is not there, it's going to throw exception. Run this to see the demo. No such element exception. To avoid null or exception, you use get or default or get or else. Get or default returns the specified default value if the key is not found. Get or else works the same way as for list. The value for non-existent keys are returned from the given lambda function. So -1 and -2 are returned. You can filter maps using filter function. When calling filter on a map, pass it to a predicate with pair as an argument. This enables you to use both the key and the value in the filtering predicate. So here you specify the key length should be greater than 3 and value should be greater than 2. So only the one entry satisfies this condition. You can filter map by filter keys and filter values function as well. Plus and minus operators work on maps differently than for other collections. Plus returns a map that contains element of its both operands, a map on the left and a pair or another map on the right. When the right hand side operand contains entries with the keys present in the left side map, the resultant map contains entries from the right side. So it's going to be replacement for low. Here when you add, the highest will be added and the key low value will be replaced. See, you can verify from the output. Minus creates a map from entries of a map on the left except those with the keys from the right hand side operand. So right hand side operand can be a single key or it can be a collection like list, set and so on, and it should contain the keys. To add multiple entries at a time, use put all. Its arguments can be a map or a group of pairs, iterable, sequence or array. Both put and put all override the values if the given keys already exist in the map. Thus, you can use them to update the values of map entries. Run this to see in action. You can also add new entries to the maps using plus assign operator. When called with key present in the map, the operators override the values of the corresponding entries. So the value of low will be overwritten. To remove an entry from a mutable map, use remove function. When calling remove, you can pass either a key or whole key value pair. If you specify both key and value, then the entry will be removed only if both the key and value matches. So here the both key and value does not match, so it will not be removed. You can confirm this until you specify the same. Now if I run, the high is removed. You can also remove entries from a mutable map by their keys or values. When called on values, remove removes only the first entry with the given value. As you can see, highest is still there, only high is removed. Similar to plus assign, you have minus assign operation which you can use to remove the entries. If the key is not found, it will not remove anything. Now map equality. Two maps containing equal pairs are equal regardless of their pair order. Mutable map is a map with write operations. For example, you can add a new key value pair or update the value associated with the given key. How to create an empty map? You can create it this way and then add key value pairs to it later. And this is how you can use build map to create a map. The default implementation of map is linked hash map. It preserves the order of elements insertion when iterating the map. There is also alternative implementation hash map. It says nothing about the elements order. You can refer to this links from Kotlin official documentation to learn more about hash map and linked hash map. That's it folks for today's video. I'll publish one more video on Kotlin collection covering some advanced stuff, functions, operations which we have not covered today. So please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get the notification of the next video. Also mention in the comments how you like this video. See you in my next video tutorial.